All right, today is April 11th of 2023, and I just thought I'd give an update on where I am. We've got cats and dogs everywhere. I've been working on trimming up the shear here, or not the shear, the chine, and we're just about there. It's a lot of piddly work, because not only are you doing this, but I'm also cutting this angle in on these frames so that it so the planking, or at least the bilge stringers, kind of lays in there. But yeah, it's slow going. Again, when you're running a planer and over your head like that, it's up higher above your shoulders. It's a lot of work. It's hard on my shoulders. But we're getting there. I've only got one frame left to do, more or less, in its entirety, and that's this little one here, which is going to have to be mostly the grinder with a, I don't know, a contour cutting, forming, whatever you want to call it, in there. But I've been using pretty much everything. I use the plane, power plane, where I can, and then use these other tools as need be. But once we get this one done, then I can start putting in these the bilge stringers on this side. So hopefully by the end of April I have these bilge stringers all in, and then that leaves me this summer to start planking, and well, to plank, and hopefully by the end of this summer the hull is planked, and that way going into this fall and winter I can start getting the plywood on the outside surfaces. So in theory we should only have one winter left, this coming winter, where the boat's inside, and then hopefully it'll be outside. A couple little things I'm doing. I got my muffler fixed in here. I got my bilge pumps in the other day, and here's my larger bilge pumps. These are the Johnson pumps, the 2200 gallon per hour pumps, and the switches. And then I got the two smaller ones in, which I don't have sitting out anywhere. But the small 650 gallon per hour ones, like I said, are basically just nuisance pumps. And that's what these here are. They're a little, use a little 3/4 inch output, and got a strainer. But yeah, that should all work adequately. And yeah, I'm hoping this winter to be getting the plywood on. And then of course you have to do a little bit of, quite a bit of work before the plywood goes on, getting this planed and sand and getting this surface prepped for the plywood. And then once the plywood goes on, there's going to be, of course, some fairing after the plywood goes on too. And there's also going to be a lot of work putting the fiberglass on. Sides not so bad, I don't think. This bottom part, might do what George suggested there and actually put the fiberglass onto the pieces of plywood before I attach them to the boat. Otherwise you're trying to lay plywood up you know, underneath the boat, and that's gotta be a little difficult, I would think. So we'll see how that goes, but I expect that might be what happens. And I got my keel shoe to go on. That can go on this summer. Yeah, and then whatever other interior work I think I want to do, but that's going to be a little bit limited now that I can't get up in here anymore. Once these bilge stringers are on this side, it's going to, not that you couldn't squeeze through there, but it's going to be tight, and it's not going to be nearly as convenient to get through there. Of course, I took my ladders down that I had on the port side here to get up into the boat, getting ready for putting these bilge stringers in, and of course to give me access to the frames down here so I can work on them. And yeah, I've been moving some of my supports around a little bit I put an extra one in here, and then I kind of move it, so I got at least 2 of these 4x4 supports under the boat, and then I've got a couple supports fore and aft, just 2x. Here's one here that's just kind of sitting there too. You know, I really don't think it would need much. Probably just one of these 4x4s would be more than adequate, if that's even needed, to be honest with you. I've heard people talk about they take all the supports away from a boat, and with a boat with a nice big flat keel like this, and of course it's not laying on the ground either. It's up on supports, and in some cases it's sitting on wood that's stacked up there, which would be strong, you know, and pretty stable. And there's like a house jack. That one's sitting on more wood there. And then a couple of these boat stands that probably wouldn't do a whole lot for keeping it from tipping over, but anyway, so I've been moving these around just as need be. But yeah, so shortly here we're going to start putting in these bilge stringers, and that'll be a good thing.